games, I have to mute them because, like, I'm not staying up, I'm not watching. I'll go to bed and wake up to like 120 text messages about the game.
Yeah. I like participating, not watching, so that's been.
Good morning, Commission, and good morning, Sheboygan. So I'll call the meeting to order for the Senior Activity Center Commission. So you want to stand and say the Pledge of Allegiance, please? I pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. I guess this meeting will be quick, but we'll get everything done in the next 25 minutes. So with that, I will look for approval for the minutes from our February 15th meeting.
Make that motion to approve.
Is there a second? Second. Okay, any discussion or any corrections needed? If not, signify saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, so kind of turn it over to you, Emily, for the next part. So participation update.
Sure, really quickly, because I'm taking the minutes. Scott, who do we have online? I want to make sure I don't miss anybody. Just Sue? Okay. All right. Please let me know if anyone else hops on. Thank you, Scott. So, yeah, participation update. Hopefully you saw the dashboard I sent out. This is something we started doing mainly for the friends to get an idea of how participation is going on a monthly basis, but works here too. So, another month of just substantial growth. We ended the month at 986 members. As I'm sure you know now, we hit 1,000, and actually I think today we'll be at 1,050. So it's still, I don't know when it's gonna slow down. It hasn't happened yet. Rich's wife knows because she volunteers at the front desk. And
Right.
Yeah. But so we've still seen just a significant continued increase of participants. Yeah, still giving a lot of tours, just a lot of tours.
Right.
Yeah.
And
Can I ask a question?
Yes, definitely.
The majority of these new participants, what is their main goal in joining?
Oof, that's a good question. I don't know that I can answer it. I think, maybe some of the front desk volunteers or Jane might be better to answer it. I know I hear from people comments like I just talked to someone on the phone who is a member and had been a member for a while, and they're gonna donate a piece of exercise equipment. And when I talked to him on the phone, he's like, yeah, I can bring it in. I need to get back there anyway. So I think a lot of people come to us for the fitness, and they look at it as, it's a good thing for me to go for exercise. And I'll say we get a ton of walkers. I mean, you can see here, like, the average daily for walking is over 40 people. On some days when it's, like, we had one day where it was nice outside, but there was still a lot of ice on the sidewalks, and we probably had 70 or 80 people walking on the walking track throughout the day. So
that's probably where you're gonna roll into your phase 2 talk about the gym. You really need that.
I also noticed there's a lot of it been word of mouth.
yeah.
And I know some of us more mature people have been inviting some of the less mature people over to join us for some activities, so.
Yeah, and we have seen some people that, they walk in, they say, yeah, we want to purchase a membership. Our people will offer them a tour, and they're like, nah, it's okay, we know that we want to join, and they'll say something like, our friends are members, and they've told us all about it. So, yeah, we joke with the friends, because if, you're not aware, the Friends, spent $20,000 last year on the general awareness campaign. So when the billboards were up and Marilyn's face was on the bus, that was the Friends. And so we've been joking with the Friends that their marketing campaign was too successful.
Yeah. Yeah, good. Okay,
Yeah.
thanks, Emily.
Yeah.
So, an update on our Phase 2 renovation.
Sure. So you'll recall that the Friends are on the hook to fund this one. So since the commission met last time, we have had a meeting with the architect as well as DPW to talk about scope of work. We did, the architect reached out to J.H. Hassinger, the contractor from Phase 1. So obviously, they've told us they plan to bid on Phase 2. It's obviously not a done deal, you know, we'll go with the best bid. But they did volunteer to do an updated estimate of what the cost of the gym would be. The last estimate we had was from 2021, and that was about $600,000, and their estimate now is $850,000. So that hurts. But that hurts. So in some of our talk about it, we did have some strategy. We all know that construction has been very, construction costs have been very nebulous the last few years and hard to predict, but there are some indicators that things might be calming down and settling down a little bit. So actually, we agreed as a team with DPW, with the architects, that we'd like to kick off construction in the fall with the hopes that we might see a little bit of savings doing this work in the fall and winter, as a lot of contractors and subcontractors are really busy in the nicer months doing projects that can only be done outdoors, as well as like school districts save all of their projects for the summer. So, and also they said they did have some subcontractors this last winter season that had like downtime, which we haven't heard that in a few years now. So we're hoping that that estimate might be, we're hoping that they shot high. I want to say it was like $180 a square foot, which Director Biebel suggested that we might still try to shoot for finding someone who can do it for $150 to $160 per square foot. So that's where we're at, still actively fundraising with the Friends. I've had a few very busy weeks following prospects and having tours and meetings, and there are a few pretty significant irons in the fire. So I hope next month we'll have some exciting updates as far as funding, but then the Friends are also pursuing alternative forms of financing to get it moving.
Do you do any internal fundraising with members?
Yeah, so we did well, we didn't do it, it's still active, a tile campaign. So at the end of the year, we sent out a letter to everyone with the opportunity to purchase tiles. Those are still coming in. We've probably raised about $12,000 from that. And I'm just about to order the tiles, and then we'll have them installed along the walking track. But the intent with that is that's something that'll go on forever. So people can, and actually, I think in the future we'll probably push that as like, you know, a gift for mom and dad sort of thing. Like, your parents don't necessarily need a new blender or something, but like maybe they'd like to see their names at Uptown Social.
Could you see maybe organizing something else, like a one-time bigger fundraiser for members?
We have talked as a staff, I haven't mentioned this to the Friends yet and plan to bring it up at the board meeting next week, but we've talked as a staff about trying to get a single day occupancy license for the gym to do a one-time fundraiser in that space before we start construction. So I had talked to Director Palashek last week about it, and his initial concern was that there wasn't fire suppression in there, so he thought, no way, there's no way you're gonna be able to do it. But I went in there and I looked, and there are sprinklers, and confirmed with facilities that they are hooked up to the system. So I think we might be able to have a one-time like bust-up fundraiser party before construction starts,
Yeah, 'cause
which I think would be really
need
fun.
HVAC in there too, don't we?
That's a question for the inspectors.
Right, yeah.
But no, there isn't HVAC in there. That's part of that $850,000 estimate, is that there are 2 new heating units that need to go on the roof.
Yeah. Just, you know, to reiterate is that we as the city are not paying for the gym. It's all private and the friends. So that's why the fundraising is so important. So, okay, good, thanks. Okay, our next thing that the commission is gonna be involved with and moving forward is a livability plan. And I know you sent some invites out yesterday to potential members, correct?
Yep. So, like we had talked about, I sent an invitation yesterday to have a kickoff meeting on April 12th. So we're gonna host that at, Uptown Social in the Creative Room. And, Vicky doesn't know this yet in the cafe, but I'm going to ask her to prepare lunch for everybody, and it's over the lunch hour, so I thought we might get better attendance if we offer to feed people, but, yeah, I don't remember, I think the group was, a solid 20 people. The one thing was, I am not sure who the contact is at Hmong Mutual, anymore. The person who was involved last time, I don't believe is involved anymore, and they just had a general phone number, so I'm gonna do a little digging, and reach out to some connections that I have to try and figure out.
I've heard that from quite a few people.
Yeah, I think the last few years, they've been going through some pretty significant transitions. They had a long-term executive director who stepped away after decades, and, yeah.
One of the persons who was in the last time, parents owned the Oriental Market on Union Avenue.
Okay.
She-
Was that Sammy Yang?
Yes, Sammy.
Because she was on the commission.
Right, she was on the commission and also on the livability.
Yeah, so maybe even if she, she's no longer on the commission, but maybe she'd be interested in this. I'll reach out to her.
Sure, okay, good. Yeah, I was on that livability from the beginning and quite a process, but this time I don't think it'd be quite as time consuming as last time because it's just updating it.
We have something to start with.
Right, yeah.
Yeah, we're not starting from scratch. So
Scratch.
I might schedule a pre-meeting with you, Rich, and also with Director Pelishek to hammer out an agenda for
Sure.
that meeting
Sounds
and
good.
make sure we have all of our homework done ahead of time.
Okay, so discussion point number 7 is review commission member terms. I know with COVID and people coming and going, it's been kind of mixed up. So were able to find all our terms?
So I wasn't. I
Oh.
went and looked, and I recalled, we put this on the agenda, and then the mayor and his assistant are in Germany this week, so they would have been.
I lost sound.
You lost sound, Sue?
No?
Sue, did you want to say something?
I temporarily lost sound. Got you back.
Okay, good, Sue. Yeah,
Thank you.
so what I'll do is when they're back from Germany next week, I'll look it up, and send that out to everybody, but I know you wanted to bring up, your term is up.
Correct.
We know that.
Yeah, because I've had it's been 6 years, can't believe it. But yeah, you get 2 consecutive 3-year terms and then you'd have to stay off a year.
Okay.
So by statute, so, okay, so we'll make sure that comes forth because the new commission would be then beginning in May,
Yeah, so we'll have to vote in,
new chair people.
yeah.
So, okay, and then action item on the back, the exclusion and appeals.
Yes, so if you'll recall, at our December commission meeting, the commission approved a code of conduct, and we have that posted in every room. I'm happy to report that we haven't had to scold anybody yet. However, I was advised by the attorney's office that we should also have an exclusions and appeals process so that, the code of conduct states that Uptown Social staff have the ability to make a determination. But so this is kind of the next step in the process. So if we're going to tell someone that they can't come for a specific period of time, that, we'd send a certified letter that includes the code of conduct, but also this, so then if they want to appeal. And I don't wanna say copied, I used the Mead Public Library's policy as inspiration with their permission. So it's different, but modeled very similarly over how the Mead Public Library does it. So the big change is that if someone were to appeal a decision made by our staff, that would come in front of the commission at the next coming commission meeting. I'll tell you, in the 2 years and 3 months that I've been in this position, I've had one person that I had to bar from coming, and it was over threats of violence and violence. So that person, I just said, couldn't come back. And if you read in here, you'll see that it says, like, that's one of the things that we take very seriously. So I have heard from that person. He reached out after we opened and asked if he could come back, and I said no at that time. Yeah. Just because we can't mess around with violence.
So do we have to approve
I wa-
this?
I was reading the appeal letter, and it's like, I mean, I think it's a great idea, but it seemed like the time frame, if I understood it right, for the appeal seemed to be almost after the fact. I mean, way after the fact. You had to wait a year before you could request appeal, or was that a year to change it? I'm confused.
Yeah, so what it is let's say today is March 15th and I have to, tell someone that they can't come to the center. Let's say it's a minor infraction. Example, someone swearing and just being disruptive. So we say, you know what, we're gonna give you a 2-week suspension. With this policy as it's proposed, if they wanted to challenge that, they would have 7 weekdays to do so, and they would submit that back to us, and then it would go in front of the commission for review as an appeal. Now, in that example, their 2-week suspension would end before the next commission meeting, so that really doesn't make sense. But in a more serious case, let's say violence like that, if I'm going to say no, you can't come back ever because this is violence and this is really serious and I'm about to call the police, they would have 7 days to ask for an appeal. And so if they submit their appeal in writing within 7 days, then the next commission meeting in this case would be in May. I'd say, okay, you can come to the commission meeting, you can make your case to the commission will vote to approve your appeal or deny your appeal, and then a year after that, they can come back and ask to come back again. Does that make more sense, Sue?
Yes, thank you.
Okay, thank you. So any additional questions on this policy or exclusion and appeal process? Natasha, as a legal person, do you have any questions?
I don't have any questions. The only thing that I note is it might be tricky if Emily is the person just that issues, the prohibition, and then she can't then serve at the hearing. So just so that would be clear, that wouldn't be
Right. Well, I'm not a voting member of the commission.
But okay, but I think, we might, if it happens, then have to develop some more internal rules for ourselves. How is the hearing gonna go? What would it look like? Who's gonna do what?
Okay.
But it wouldn't really be fair for you to be part of the hearing, making a decision on whether or not it should stand if you were also,
Oh, I agree with that entirely.
Okay, so that could
That's
be
a good point to bring up. Thank you.
something we'll need to do is,
if it comes up.
right, a process. Okay,
Hopefully
good.
we never have to use this,
Right.
but it's,
Sounds good. So, with that, I'll put this, policy in front of us for a vote. Someone make a motion that we accept it?
Make the motion, we accept it.
There, second?
Second.
Okay, any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor of exclusion and appeal process, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Aye.
Okay, this is a new, appeal process for you. So,
hopefully we never have to use it.
right, okay, good. So you just want to report on the Iceland trip, that's all sold out, right?
Yeah. Well, so as Rich brought up, we do our trips and they've been huge. So actually in April, we're going to announce our 2024 trips. And we're going to have another travel show. But yeah, our Iceland trip filled up. They have no more spaces on that day, so actually, as other people have been coming forward, we've been offering a few different dates with Mayflower. But, so Josh and his partner are gonna go along on the Iceland trip, and then actually, we have enough people that signed up for Sedona that Jane is gonna go along.
Okay,
As far as bus trips, I will be taking a full bus to Branson next month, assisted by Veronica Valdez, the mayor's assistant. Jane is gonna do a 3-day bus trip to Chicago this summer. That's not full yet, but it has enough people that it'll definitely go. And then in the fall, Josh is gonna take a big group to the Northeast for fall colors.
exciting.
Yeah.
Very good. So, thanks for reporting it. Any other comments or questions for our commission? If not, the next meeting is May 17th at 8 AM in this Hallett Halls. And so with that, I will accept the motion to adjourn.
So move.
Second.
Is there a second?
Yep,
Oh, second. All in favor of adjourning, signify by saying aye.
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 And thank you very much,
Aye.
Scott, once again. Okay, we are adjourned.
Thank you.